Hey dudes, welcome back. We got a banger tonight. An absolute banger. We're talking about telepathy and the paranormal. Oscar's got the mic tonight. Let's go. What is up, dudes? Welcome back to the Paranormal Podcast. Oh, see, I messed that up. Welcome back to the Paranormal Dudes Podcast, episode 51. I'm the Mexican Seth Rogen. That's Oscar. That's Buddy. And we got Jess. Jess is back. And, she already brought him out. There, it answers everybody's question. If the Tongues of Destiny would make an appearance on tonight's episode. Kylie, if you're watching, there they are. I'm sure you are. Thank you for joining us tonight, or whenever it is that you're watching the show or listening to the show, wherever it is. It's going to be a fun-filled night tonight. Am I wrong, or it's going to be boring like the rest of YouTube?
Nah. This topic has a lot of good stuff. So I'm
Really?
excited to bring this to you guys and share and open that discussion up.
It's okay, cool. I mean, you know what? If we don't have any paranormal experiences going on right now, or that we've had since the last time we met, let's go. Let's dive right into it. Take it, Oscar.
All right. Well, we're going to be talking about telepathic abilities, all these different things today. And I got a lot of research that I did and a lot of CIA stuff that I found, just a bunch of things.
Let's go. Okay.
I was just like reading it, going through that rabbit hole. But I mean, anybody that's listening right now, you've probably heard of telepathy, telepathic powers, all these different things. And if you don't know what those are, we'll just kind of give you a brief, small explanation. Telepathy is pretty much the ability to communicate with another person's mind without using the normal sensory channels like talking or hearing or seeing, right? And it's
or Morse code with farts or some shit like that, right?
Yeah. So pretty much like Wi-Fi, Bluetooth type of thing, you know? And another form of it is called clairvoyance. And that's something that we've talked a lot about on the pod. And kind of the foundation of it, right, of how we start to kind of, experience different things. For those that don't know what clairvoyance is, it's pretty much the ability to gain the knowledge of things that are not available through our five senses. And it's often described as that sixth sense, right? The ESP, which is the
dead people.
Yeah, that extrasensory perception, which involves from events, objects, information beyond any limitations of the ordinary perception.
Okay.
So
and that's kind of like what was happening before we got on the podcast. With you were cooking and everybody was doing research on the topic, and Jesse was just going, guys stop
just choose the garlic salt already. That's what she was telling me.
God.
So everybody's aware what happened before we started filming. Jesse was having telepathy issues or with her clairvoyance, and
I was
Oscar
trying to do homework.
He was just trying to do homework. Oscar was cooking. He was meal prepping for his week. And if you haven't caught on yet, we film these on Sundays. And Jesse just hit up the group chat that we have together and told Oscar to choose a damn spice or seasoning already and figure it out. And everybody just shut up with the topic we're discussing right now.
Yeah, buddy.
Hilarious.
I'm sorry. Crazy part is and I'm not even like, I mean, this, the pod is all transparent, it's all real, nothing is
Yeah.
fabricated. I legit had 4 seasonings in front of me. I had an adobo, I had garlic salt, I had chicken salt, and then I had Cajun. So I'm like, what am I gonna use? And I finally chose garlic salt for my vegetables. So there it is.
You know
But
what? I just to support this, I'll put a screenshot of our group chat here so they can see exactly what we're referencing. Okay, go ahead, Austin.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, definitely that's a real example of pretty much what we're talking about today.
Yep.
So yeah, telepathy, clairvoyance, and this originated back in the 1800s, late 1800s, by someone's a researcher called Frederick Myers. Now, I looked into Frederick's work. It's crazy because unfortunately, this is kind of how a lot of things happen, right? When people discover things or they start to bring stuff into the world, they're not really valued at that time until they pass away. And that's what happened with Frederick Myers.
Right.
He was actually more focused on the paranormal side of things when it came to the
Okay.
evolution of consciousness or clairvoyance and telepathy, which is really cool because that's
I
obviously
like this
the
cat so
pod.
far. He's cool. I love
Yeah.
it.
And obviously that century that he had passed didn't get a lot of attention, right? And then it started to
Right.
kind of spark up. Now we see it a lot. Now a lot of people experience these certain things, or there's movies behind them, or like the quiet ones, or like all these different types of things in pop
Yeah.
culture. But this has been a thing for many years. And now that it's starting to pop up, they call it the resurrection of Frederick Myers, because he said, well, death is not really real. It's an illusion of what, we think it is. And because of that energy that focused back onto his studies, they said that he came
hmm
back and kind of showed everything of, yeah,
Telepathically.
What?
telepathically.
Yeah, I could see
Yeah.
What
that.
if he's like the telepathic ghost? That'd be trippy if he was that. I don't know. Go ahead.
And you got to think about it, like, that's a lot of power that somebody can harm. And we can think of a certain theory right now, like the Tong theory. We can start it today and call it the Tong
Right.
theory. And we have the ultimate power when it comes to something like that because we created it from our mind, right? And
Right.
as obviously it starts to catch on, then that energy is going to come and make it bigger than it is. So he highlighted a bunch of things, right? Telepathic communication, the paranormal things, obviously, being able to look into the future and remote viewing. I don't
Right.
know anybody that's listening right now, like, shoot, put it in the comments, anything that you've ever experienced or remote viewing or any telepathic thing that's ever happened. Or I don't know if you guys have ever experienced, I mean, we just did before the show, but anything else
Yeah.
that
That
you guys
was a
experienced?
prominent one. I mean, as far as telepathy goes, I think I'm a virgin, like a virgin. Hey,
There's something
uh,
virgin about you.
telepathically touch for the very first
Oh
time.
my god.
Um, I honestly, maybe. I mean, there's been times in my life where I'm doing something and I'm like, what am I doing? I don't understand. What am I like? Kind of like, just an example. I'm going to go something that's usually out of the ordinary, not my norm. Definitely would be like that's happened to me for sure. Where I'm doing something, and then I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I don't know if it's me being a moron or it's me being controlled by someone or something telepathically telling me to do something, because I do believe in that. Um,
Well, if you
it
ever
was.
drive over here with a raspado, then you know I'm telling you to bring me something.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, for me that's how it is. You already know Jesse's answer. I mean,
Oh
she
my
was
god,
she had
wow.
just experienced all this
I
shit
experienced a
earlier.
lot of that, a lot of it. Um, Mostly with my daughter, with my family. So I don't know, that's like something else that's kind of weird because it's like if you spend so much time with somebody, you just kind of start to mesh with them and think how they think, or is it telepathy? But I don't know.
Yeah, and
What
that's
What about you,
where
bud?
This is. I'm gonna be honest. I read teleportation and clairvoyance, and I was like, "This is gonna be interesting." And it wasn't until just about 2 hours ago I went over it again. I went, "Oh, telepathy."
Yeah.
So I was
You're like
kind of lost,
garlic salt adobo and telepathy.
right?
oh, it's
Yeah, I was.
telepathy. Oh,
I was lost, but I started looking at all and hearing some of the things you guys are talking about, and then reading what I was reading this evening. And I started thinking, I've experienced a few little things like that, but not to any great extent. But had some little time things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's where the
So it's
controversy.
telepathy.
Yeah, I'm saying
Telepathy.
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 There you go.
Telepathy.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I appreciate that because then I'm gonna get all these comments, people saying, "Dude, you're not even saying it
That's not how
right."
you say it.
No
That's
sabe
not how you
hablar.
say
Telepathy. I say it that way because I
not how
know
you
more
say
than
it.
one language. Okay, so
You can say with
Um,
a French accent. He's like,
Telepathy. Or Italian.
telepathy. There you go.
Telepathy.
But yeah, and that's where
We are
the
not.
controversy.
We are not sponsored by Capri Sun. You're going to be seeing Buddy drinking Capri Sun. We're not sponsored by Capri Sun.
I'll do the backside.
The backside. Although we would love to be, Capri Sun, hit us up, man. We freeze your shit. It is delicious. Go for it.
Yeah.
freezing Capri Sun since 1998.
Since 1998, yo.
Do you guys use a straw or no? I never used a straw.
No, you just cut
Well,
the
you have
top
to
and
cut
you
the
eat it like a
top if it's
monster.
frozen.
No. When it's like liquid,
Oh,
My son doesn't.
he just goes like,
He's a straw. Yeah.
yeah, me too. I do the same thing. I don't know.
yeah. You just cut when it's frozen. You just cut the top and you eat it like a mongrel. Like
Well,
a
you have to
fucking
mash it a little
monster.
bit so it becomes like an icy, and then you cut the
Yeah.
top.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I need to try that. I'm gonna get some Capri Suns.
And then you suck. You suck the
my
Capri
God.
Sun. You suck.
Always.
All right, go
All right,
ahead.
before we get into a deeper on that side, but that's where the controversy comes from when it comes to telepathy, and you know, oh, it's because they hang out all the time, or oh, it's because they know too much of each other, and we're gonna dive into that stuff. But just a little fun fact about telepathy. My brain wants to say telepathy. Telepathy and remote viewing is that the CIA has funded research to this. So again, kind of tying it back to a bunch of the other podcasts we've had, the episodes is there's something that they know that we don't. Like, why would they
Of
fund,
course.
this
Yeah.
abstract form thing, right?
Yes. I mean, has anybody seen Stranger Things?
That
I mean,
yes, that's what I was gonna
It's
say.
based off of like not true events, but I would say real events. Yeah. Go ahead.
That
was
movie,
the one nerdy
The
thing.
Man Who Stared at Ghosts, was about that.
Oh, that one as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that one as
Yeah.
well. That's right.
What about Carrie?
I've heard of all these.
I mean,
I've never watched them.
she uses like telekinesis, right, on things.
Yeah.
Yes, and that makes sense because it's like right after she gets her first period. So maybe that's like triggers something. And be serious, Sergio.
You mean like
That
homeroom?
could be a real thing.
Yeah, sure.
That's a movie, right, Carrie? I think I've
Yes,
seen
but
it.
watch the
There's
original one.
The original one, and then
Yes.
the remake's okay. It's not
The remake's
same.
horrible. Don't watch it, please. Watch the original one.
Okay.
Or I can like just speak all of the movie for you if you want to just sit here and watch me for 2 hours. with me.
Gosh, jeez.
I'll watch the original one.
Yeah, it's with Sissy Spacek.
We're gonna have a just a video on YouTube of Jesse reciting the entire movie to kind of like an audible, kind of like that. I like that. We'll just do that,
They're all gonna
and then we'll
laugh
get
at you.
copyrighted.
A visual audible.
Yeah, visual audible
New
with tongues.
invention. With tongues.
The tongues of destiny.
Panfilo se llama.
Pampilo. Go for it. Klaus.
All right, so we're gonna jump into some interesting stuff here. about some of the scientific studies and experiments that people have done in this
Ooh.
space. Now, the first one is called the Gansfield experiments, and you could actually do this at home. If you look it up on YouTube, it's pretty much a experiment where you deprive yourself of your sensory senses, I guess, to
Yeah.
test for any telepathic transmission. Now, all you need to
Oh.
do to perform this is to lay on the couch or on bed, wherever, lay somewhere, cover your eyes with something that will block out any type of image, but can allow light inside and some headphones. And you need to listen to white noise that is loud enough where you can't hear anything else around you.
You fucking lost me there. I can't do white noise. That scares the shit out of me. Like, I've already experienced stuff with white noise. Where I hear voices in it inside the white noise. I can't. I'll try it though. I'll give it a go.
Yeah, so that's, I don't know, we'll probably have a separate video where we maybe can do it and see what we experience. But
Yeah.
the pictures are kind of
10,000
scary.
likes.
10,000 likes and Oscar will do
it.
it.
I don't need 10,000 for that one, guys. Just 10.
Just
Just
10.
cook
I'm
some
good.
fucking chicken and then you'll do it.
Yeah.
Chicken.
So, but people have had a lot of different results when it comes to this. Some people have actually, felt certain things. I don't know. Just thinking about doing that makes me feel like, I don't know, something about not being able to see and like when you can't hear. I don't know if this is just you guys, but when you can't hear and see, like my mind just starts to create like a bunch of things that I'm like, are they really
Right.
there? And
Right.
then that whole like static feeling starts to like come, and I'm like, nah, dude. Like it's kind of like when you're like washing your face in the shower,
yes, I know what you mean. Right.
and then you feel like there's something right in front of you. But
Sergio's afraid to fit his eye. Sergio's afraid to close his eyes in the shower. Isn't
Yeah,
it you that you're?
I am.
He doesn't
I-
close his eyes in the shower.
Ever
He
since
showers
those
with his
damn
eyes wide open.
Paranormal Activity movies, this is me every shower. Okay, it's like this. And shampoo coming down my face, burning. My eyes are red. I have to take drops after I take showers. Are you high? No, I just I'm scared in the shower.
I just peed myself in the shower.
But yes, that's me, 100%.
the ones that did the movies that did that for me was The Grudge.
The
Oh,
Grudge
God.
is pretty creepy.
Yeah, I think it's The Grudge or The
Here we
Ring.
go, Jesse.
Okay, are we gonna start a Sergio eye roll? I'm just saying.
I'm sure, but I don't do it as often as you do. You just did it twice, right there. It was this way
It's
and that
because
way.
you're talking. It's because you're talking.
Okay, I'll stop talking. I'll let Oscar continue with his topic.
All right, we'll jump into the next experiment that was done, or there's actually a book on this. It's called the Rupert Sheldrake's Sense of Being Stared At Experiments.
Ooh.
Now, there's a
Ooh.
whole book about it, but pretty much what it is that your brain knows when it's being stared at.
Yes.
And that's because a lot of things, but I think the biggest thing is our mind always wants to protect us. And
Right.
we can't, I guess you can eventually, everything. And a lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about today is, I feel like it could eventually be manually triggered or manually controlled, because you just have to give it attention. Kind of like we've been talking about, being open to, the paranormal world and clairvoyance and things like that. That's pretty much what it is. But I don't know. That feeling I've gotten since I was like a kid. Like when somebody's staring at you and you're just like, it's that static feeling. Like, the old TVs.
It is.
That's the feeling that I get when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I feel like
I
that's
mean,
really
I've-
common.
People staring at people. I mean,
Yeah.
they're people watchers.
No, but yes, but I mean, it could be in a creepy way and not, right? But I feel like you
Well,
can always
Yeah,
feel it stare.
definitely. Yeah, you can. And anybody here, has that ever happened to you where you felt the stare and you knew exactly where it was coming from and it was a creepy stare? It happened to me at Disneyland. I'm having fun. Okay?
Disneyland.
I'm there.
And
I've spent $10,000 at Disneyland already. And
For a creepy stare.
for a creepy stare, it was like an elderly woman, Raza, by the way. And she had a turkey leg. I don't know if that adds to the story, but she had a turkey leg.
Did you want a bite of it?
I did not. I don't like those turkey legs. But she was sitting on the bench, and I was going towards Tomorrowland. If you don't know what that is, you can Google it. I was going to Tomorrowland, and I felt something. I felt it, like kind of like ringing in my ear, kind of. And I turned to my right. This lady's got the drumstick like this, and just staring at me intently as I'm walking by, and I'm like,
you should have blown a kiss at her. That's what I do.
no, I did an awkward, not even a wave, just a
beg your pardon.
Señora, señora.
All right, I am not the man you're looking for. So and it was creepy to me because I obviously didn't know the woman. I don't know why she was staring at me.
Maybe you look like familiar to her.
I don't know. Maybe she's a professional people watcher and she likes to do it at Disneyland. Spent $10,000 just to be in there.
She was like, look, it's Seth Rogen.
I feel like if I was like a creepy stare, I wouldn't like have a turkey leg as a prop.
Right? It's a little suggestive. Like,
what if she was looking? Yeah, what if she was?
But she couldn't do that because she was staring at me, so she was probably like this.
Oh my god! She was staring at you in mid bite.
No, thank God, because it would have made it even more awkward. I just would have been like, "Go ahead and eat your turkey. It's fine. I'm just passing by."
You should have made a gobble sound.
Yeah, and then she like charges me, and it turns out to be a Disney ghost. Imagine if it was a Disney ghost.
Yeah.
Oh my god! I'm good. What if she wasn't even real? Did anybody else see her?
I don't know. I didn't ask. Do you guys see that weird lady with a turkey leg? I didn't ask anyone.
I would have. You know me. I would have been like, "There's a lady over there with a turkey leg staring at me."
Yes, I know you would have, but me, it was different because I was just like pushing my daughter, Owie, and I'm just like, let's go.
Oh God!
And that was it.
But you
were going to say something. What were you going to say?
Oh, I think the little old lady thought she saw Seth Rogen.
Oh, maybe she thought you were a celebrity.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she thought you were a celebrity. That's it. That's
Mexican
it.
Seth Rogen.
Okay. That's what it was. We know now.
Oh my God, he said hi to me.
We went on this giant tangent of lady with the turkey leg, but has anything happened to anybody else? Not as dramatic as mine, but where you guys realize someone's staring at you and you turn around and look at them, and it's creepy or awkward, either one.
All the time.
Yeah, that's happened to me in I think it was a Target one time. I was walking in the middle aisles, and it was me and one of my friends, I think my brother-in-law too. And sometimes I mess around like a lot, especially in public. And I did like this turn around like stare type of thing. Like if I knew that person was staring at me, like I was completely kidding. Like I didn't know there was anybody there in my line of sight. I just completely turned around and I looked, and the person was staring at me, and they were like, "What the heck?" Like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Like they were like, "Dude, he caught me." You know, like he caught me. But I don't know. Like sometimes I don't know. You're walking through places, and you just feel like this sort of like wave of Let me just look that way real quick because there's something there, you know. And in the crowd of people, like at Disneyland, like in the crowd of people, you decided to look there. I know. Out of all people, you know?
And I had to check my hand. I was like, do I have a turkey leg? Does she want it? No. Okay, let's keep going.
And then you don't even know if
yeah,
they're
yeah.
alive or if they are, you know?
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the worst part. Like you want to go poke them to see if they're real, but then if they're real, then you get reported and then you get kicked out of Disneyland. That has not
Yeah.
happened to me. I'm just saying. Yeah, it definitely. What about you, bud? Anything seared in your brain where you remember it and it was creepy or awkward?
I think I'm the creepy person that stares at people.
The
Yeah.
opposite. And
Well,
Well,
at least
I
mean,
am. He's like, I am the turkey leg lady.
I
That's
am the
me.
turkey leg. I just like to study people. You know, I look at people and I'm like, what's that person all about?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I'm feeding off energy to them, but I get caught a lot. So I'll be like looking at
Really?
somebody and then all of a sudden they just turn and we meet eyes and it's
Well, I
like,
mean, okay. Let's
oh,
let's be completely honest here, buddy. You're a big dude, okay?
yeah.
And a lot of your features are very menacing, and they're probably freaked out. Okay, just so everybody knows watching this show, Buddy, I know you see Buddy when he talks or you see his square. He looks intimidating and like he's scary, but this dude is like the biggest fucking teddy bear you're ever going to
he's the
meet in your
sweetest
life.
person in the whole world.
Yes,
Yes.
he is. And but that's probably why they're like, oh my god, this guy's gonna, I don't know,
He's
yell
gonna
at me or
attack
do
me.
something. He's gonna
Here.
attack me.
Yeah, I
But
can see that.
that's not the
I'll
case.
give you guys because you guys grew up with him, right? I'll give you guys like a third
Yes.
point of view of like, if I were to see Buddy, I would be like, this dude is like a Harley Davidson, like mean old biker dude that like I need to watch what I'm saying, type of thing, right? But then like you get to know him, you're like, damn, bro, like But that's just how.
Yeah,
That's
it's
how it
not
is.
that way. I'm sure people see our thumbnails and they're like, man, that guy looks scary. And they watch the episode like, oh, he's a goofy guy. Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a giant goof. I mean, I've never even ridden a Harley.
All right, here comes the next person.
Ay.
Of course.
What?
Jess. What about you? Have you ever
I'm not
anything
gonna say
that's
anything. No.
No, you
I've
have to.
never.
It's something that's prominent in your mind and you remember.
I want to get
Just
scared.
the only thing that is like that. Well, like I said before, you don't know if they're alive or not, right? So one thing that was really weird just happened to me recently. I was driving with my boss to Orange, and we
Okay.
stopped in San Juan Capistrano at this delicious little bakery. I had no idea that she took me to. And I felt something staring at me, like from the back seat. And
Okay.
so I was like, what the heck? And I turned around and it was a man.
Oh my gosh.
And I told her, oh, so my boss is very like, she's like into like a lot of zodiac stuff. Like she's just as part of her culture, like she's into all that. And I told her, hey, there's like a man in the back seat. She's like, oh my god, where? And I'm like, he's in the back seat. Like, and she's like, is it a family member? Like, is it somebody I know? I go, no, it's nobody we know. He just was in the car.
This is just some dude hanging out. He's got a turkey leg. He's just sitting back there. What's up?
He was we were on the 5. He just got in our car, and when we got back from the bakery, he was gone. But it recently happened, so that's why it's fresh in my mind. But I just was like feeling like freaking piercing stare behind me. I'm like, what the heck?
I hate that energy is so palpable. Like it's hard to describe, and I didn't get that sense from that lady, but other instances I have gotten that like energy of whether that person wants me to turn around and look at them. I don't know if that ever drains you, Jess, or anybody here.
All the time.
When someone is very intense with their glare at me, it drains the crap out of me. And I feel it. But yeah.
So we walked downtown, that little area, San Juan Capistrano. I wanted to die. It was like picture a whole block. It was antique shops like galore down there.
Hell
And there was
no.
like an antique shop that was like 2-story. It looked like a department store. And they were like, come on, let's go in. And I was like, no.
Miss me with that shit. No,
Yeah, no.
I'm not gonna say I went willingly. I got taken to a 2-story thrift shop. I fucking hated it, and I felt uneasy the entire time. But we're going on a giant tangent here. Let's let Oscar continue with his
Sorry.
telepathy. I can't even say it right.
Telepathy.
That shit. Yeah, that. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, that was Rupert Sheldrake's sense of being stared at. So I appreciate you guys sharing
Right.
all those experiences. The next one is called the Philip experiment. Now, this is a collective belief of conjuring a fake ghost. Now, who is Philip? Well, Philip was an unhappily married guy that was married to Dorothea, but then he fell in love with the Romani girl who was accused of witchcraft and then was burned at the stake. So Philip was
Jeez.
extremely just in despair. He committed suicide in 1654 at the age of 30. Now, so what is the experiment? So it was a group that was around the table, and they wanted to communicate with this person thing, Philip.
Right. With
And
Philip.
yeah. And so they weren't able to contact them, no communication, no type of anything. Now, Owen, which was one of the persons that was there, people that were there, he kind of changed the environment. So he started dimming the lights. He started to mimic more of that traditional seance of like just what it would feel like, what it would look like. And everyone started to feel a presence. Then the table started to vibrate. They started to have like a draft. There was unexplained echoes. And as they were asking questions about Philip's life, things were starting to move. Eventually, at one point, the table tilted on one single leg and moved across. Things were moving across the room without anybody touching them. Now, there was video recording, there was audio recording. No one ever saw anything, and he never presented himself. But this stuff was happening as they were asking all these questions. And that was the Philip experiment.
Okay, so it was a telepath that became a ghost, and they it sounds like they were using him as a circus trick, which is wild. Have you guys ever been to those like seance readings and they try to conjure a ghost or anything like that? I've seen countless of them on YouTube, but I've never been to one myself.
Yeah, I've never been.
No. Jesse's like, it happens in my room every day.
Shut the hell up.
What about you, bud? Nothing like that?
I'm trying to understand that. So this Philip experiment, it's like they conjure, you said, a fake ghost?
So essentially they were trying to communicate with someone who passed away in the past, well, obviously in the past. And I don't think it was at the exact location, because usually when somebody passes away, that spirit kind of roams that certain location. I think they
kind of attached to that location.
Like the residual
I didn't really look into it too much as far as location, but I think they were just trying to conjure it from wherever they were.
So I'm kind of trying to think, this whole episode that happened with them, with the table vibrating, standing on one leg and such, could that have been because of their like collective fear of what was going on? They all unlocked like a telepathic energy to move these
all
things
their
on their
brains
own.
were syncing together.
Yeah, like
thing.
they all synced, and the strength was able to do that. Not necessarily paranormal,
because it was a ghost, right?
So it was a ghost.
Four-way brain scissor. I get it.
Yeah, like their waves, their brain waves moved everything. Is that I'm trying to understand that whole thing,
dude. Imagine that buddy has a really valid and good point. Is what if they think they were conjuring Philip, but in reality their collective brains were actually creating this giant wave of I can't say the word telepathy. Yeah, what Buddy said. And it actually conjured a spirit for all that to happen, or it was them doing it all along, because that's wild to think of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, haven't you ever been with a group of people and you're like, okay, let's all think about the same thing? Like me and my sisters do that all the time. Like, let's look at the light and look, like everybody think of it as green, and then it turns green. Or everybody think about this,
Like
and then
a traffic light, like that.
yeah, like a traffic light, or I mean, I don't want to say, but forget it. Let's just
No,
say
you have to say it
something.
now. You're
Somebody,
gonna say it, and it's either staying in the pod or I'm editing out. You have to say it though.
so let's just say I was somewhere and this person was getting on my nerves like extremely.
It
And
wasn't me.
no, it was a work thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was like, in my head, I was like, just shut like the F up. And all of a sudden, she started choking on a chip.
Oh my gosh. That's staying in the pod.
Oh
That's
my
definitely
God.
staying in the pod. That is gold. Girl, if you're out there and you're watching this, now you know.
Now you know why you were choking.
She'll never watch this. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think, I mean, we said it before too, like when we jump on the pod, all of us are kind of bringing that energy, and that's how I think things happen, you know. Ethan is in the closet somewhere, guys, so that's why he's not here.
That's why he's
if you guys are wondering, so please comment down below, and we'll bring
try
it
and take them out.
Comment down below and everybody spam "Where's Ethan?" ? Everybody
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah. So,
and we're all gonna reply with the same thing. That's me in the closet. That's it.
So those were just a couple of the experiments that were happening, you know, throughout history. Let's jump into some real psychic claims and things about pop culture and people that have done some crazy things. Now, the first one is, I may butcher his name. His name is Uri Geller. And he's actually, I believe he's British and Italian or something like that. But he is famous for his spoon bending abilities. He is also a magician, and he has telepathic abilities. Now, there was a lot of controversy on this. You can actually, he's still alive today. I think he's 78 years old. And
10,000 likes and Oscar will go to his house.
so he
Can
actually,
you bend my? He's gonna go take his spoons. Can you bend all of my spoons? I want to be able not to eat cereal at my house anymore.
For real. So he actually, I don't know what museum it is. Maybe you can look it up. I'm sure if you look up his name, it will pop up. But pretty much he does that event where he's
like a sideshow at his house.
At some museum or some like thing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know where exactly it is, but he does it in person. And him to this day is like, I'm also still mind blown that I can even do this. Now, there's a lot of controversy of people that say that it's completely fake. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I don't know. When I was reading about it and I was looking it up, I'm like, he can't be the only one that can do it.
I think here's what I think. I think we're actually going to watch a video of him doing that right now.
Oh, shoot. All right.
So we thought we'd get in the world's most famous spoon bender and mystifier, Uri Geller, to test out the bendability of some.
He's hot.
Okay. I'll try to bend it without touching it, obviously. Bend. 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 No.
Enough yet?
Okay, come on. 1, 2, 3. Bend. Not working.
So, Uri, this is your last chance.
This is an iPhone ad.
Your touch. Everyone says the iPhone 6 can bend.
It looks really fake.
No, what?
No, look. It's beginning. It's going. It's going. It's going. Wow. Apple, I can solve your problem.
I don't know.
Bro, that's like me going, Ben. Dude, you saw that? So that was Uri Geller. Next one is Nina Kulagina. This is a Soviet psychic who was allegedly able to move objects with her mind. Now, including telekinesis, she would influence compass needles, causing heat sensations. And when these experiments were done, she could move light objects with her mind. And they actually were able to see psychological or physiological changes, like her heart rate, alter brain waves, and this all of this stuff was recorded in her experiments, which pretty much claimed that it was true.
So I'm seeing here that she inspired 11 from Stranger Things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh shoot!
This is here with a Webble. So hers is a lot of hand gestures. It seems like. Okay.
11 is from Stranger Things.
Oh, it's from Stranger Things. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, dude, there's sometimes where I stare at things and I'm like, in 10 seconds you're gonna fall or move, like something off the desk, right? And I'm just like, dude, what if it did? Like, did you guys ever do that growing up, or just like today?
Yeah,
of course, all the time. I thought I was a freaking Jedi Knight. All the time, just nothing would happen, but all the time, yeah, by far.
buddy, are you okay?
I am. I'm just remembering it was about 4th, 5th grade, and Sergio would do that. The Jedi Knight stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
The motion, the what is it? The automatic doors.
He still does it.
I try to do it from time to time when the remote's a little too far and see if it actually works, but it doesn't. So
same here.
So Nina's no longer, obviously, with the pictures we saw, she's no longer living, correct?
Yeah, she actually passed away, I think, in her 60s.
Okay.
So she was born like 1926 or something like that.
I would have loved to have a conversation with her and
Demo
learn this ability so that I could be a real life Jedi
You still can.
Knight. Don't tell me that, Jesse. Don't give me false hope.
What if you just need to focus on it more?
Mm-hmm.
What if that's what she did?
You really have to learn how to control your brain.
What are you saying? I'm a moron, Jesse? Is that what you're telling me right now?
No, it's just that it's really hard for people to actually. That's probably why those experiments you have to like put headphones and like cover your eyes like a bird, because a lot of people
water deprivation.
They can't like completely. It's really hard for people to focus. You have to like really try or do training literally to learn how to focus in.
Yeah.
Well, that's why meditation is so. I don't know if you guys ever try to meditate. It's extremely hard.
I've meditated my whole life. Yeah, it's transcending to say the least.
So this kind of leads into. I mean, we've already kind of brought up Stranger Things, but in the pop culture,
yeah, definitely,
right? Stranger Things, X-Men, Professor X, all these different things that have stemmed from these telepathic experiences or experiments. Now, there's these telepathic tape podcast, and they claim that autistic children can actually read minds.
I've seen that. I've seen that. Yes.
Even before I was looking into, all of that, and I think we've talked about it on the pod before, or maybe it was just like a one-on-one conversation, but I really do feel that people with quote-unquote disabilities, like learning or like...
Yeah, they're on the spectrum.
They tap into that part of the brain that a quote-unquote normal person can't.
Yeah.
And that's why they're able to do these things.
For sure.
There's
I think so too. Yeah.
They're also like a like some type of genius thing. Also, that's why I think that has to do with it too.
Yes.
And also their brain waves, I also believe that they're on a different level. And
different frequency as we are.
Way different frequency. And they could actually in many ways they're clairvoyant as well. They see shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just so everybody's, and I'm not afraid to say this. My daughter's on the spectrum, and there's times where she'll come up to me. She's like, "Daddy, daddy, daddy." I go, "What? What's the matter? Are we monster?" And she'll point to nothing, and I'm
At
like,
the mirror. You.
"It's me, it's me." And and it always freaks me out. She does that not often, but periodically. She will not say monster. She's like, "Daddy, look," because she can't say her L's. Look, and I'm like, "There's nothing there." And I get it. I totally get
Mhm.
what you're trying to say, Oscar.
Wow, it's amazing because I mean, imagine if we start to be able to tap into more of our brain. You know how
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
different we can see life.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. I agree 100%.
Now we're gonna talk a little bit about psychic scams versus true believers, right? Because it's actually a $1 billion psychic industry. It's a $1 billion industry. Um, but kind of like we were talking about before, there's people that claim like the turtleneck guy that we always talk about. You know,
Oh
like people
God,
that
yes.
that make
Mind control?
like
No, you remember he created a scene in his kitchen,
Oh,
and he was
yes.
trying to say it was a poltergeist. And the only thing I honed in on throughout the whole video
uh,
was his fucking turtleneck.
his
Yes, that
turtleneck.
one.
yes, I do.
So that's red flags of that stuff with fake psychics, people with being able to read, but then there's a whole bunch of that other side, and I feel like we'll relate to a lot more on this side too. Is like when a mother knows their child is in danger. I know, Jesse, you've shared a story like that, which completely blew our mind. Or twins can feel each other's pain or sort of
Mhm.
senses and different things like that. But I don't know. I kind of opened it up to you guys to share a little bit about that.
So that's something
Oh,
that me and my sisters were talking about because literally in Chula Vista, there is a sign, and I swear it's on the freeway. You could see it from miles away, and it's like psychic readings. I'm like, can you imagine how much freaking money this lady has to make to freaking make a huge, it was like bigger than a billboard, and it was like
Wow.
psychic readings, and it was huge, you guys. And I was like, who even knows? Like, she's probably like, it sucks because she has, I don't know, I feel like she's like such a fake. Because if you go to a real
right.
psychic, they're just like at maybe farmers markets, like just on tables, like waiting, or they're like
Yeah,
in
of
little
course.
shops, and then some of them, like there was a couple ladies here in my town, and they would just ask for donations. So you would see people lined up to get readings with like bags of fruit, or like like some lady had like little candles, or like they'd give her stuff like that.
Chakra
It,
crystals.
just anything. It wasn't really like she had a little vasito there for money, but people wouldn't even really, like, she wouldn't charge.
Oh, okay. So she was a giving psychic. That's
Well,
nice.
true psychics, that's like a good, like, that's how you know a true psychic. It's like they'll be like, oh, whatever you want to give me, or they won't charge you.
Right.
Yeah.
And the ones that charge, would you say they're malicious?
I don't think they're malicious. Maybe they just have the talent and they want to make a living that way, but I feel like a true psychic is not, is gonna, is just gonna tell you.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I mean, we could look at Miss Cleo. Remember that?
Oh God.
Oh God, Miss
And there's a
Cleo.
whole
That's
that's how
right.
she came out as a fake because it wasn't even
Yeah.
her. It
Yes.
was like tons of different people filling in as her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've never really gotten like a reading like that, or like went into something. I don't know. Maybe Jesse, you can say if you can kind of shine light on like what do people charge? Like, is it like $10 for a certain thing, and then like you want to unlock more, $20, or like how does that work?
So it depends. So okay, I have seen a ton of psychics, and or people that say that they're psychic on TikTok. And like a lot of them will get to you because they'll say like, okay, one free question. And then like if you want a full reading, it's $20 or $15, or like $15 for like one subject. So like just about, your health or just about work. But and then they'll separate it. Like if you want like a ton of psychics I've seen on TikTok, they're like, if you want to know about fertility or having a baby, like that's like 50 and above, and it's like separate.
Okay.
So I, as a person who kind of sees, or does that stuff, like I don't see why a fertility reading would be $50 and above. Like I don't get it. Um, I don't know what
I
criteria you have to have.
pay me your money. Okay. Your husband can't get it up. I got it.
You need, I don't know what that would, like I said, I've been to little towns, and there's like farmers markets, and there's just a lady sitting there with a table, and she does your reading, and you give her whatever you want, or
Right.
it just depends. But I don't know. I feel like when I have had readings on, I do this shit for fun, right? I'll go on TikTok and like get readings. I feel like they ask questions, like it'd be like, oh, what do you want to know about? Oh, my career. I want to know if it's a right career path. Oh, are you happy in your job? And you say yes. Oh, you're gonna be successful. Oh, you're gonna be, you know. And if you say oh no or something, they'll be like, oh, you need a job career change, and you need to. So I feel like a lot of times they'll feed off of people
It's like set up in a
energy.
way by
Yeah.
the questions they
Mhm.
ask.
Yes. They'll just ask them in different ways, so you don't feel like you're giving away too much. But that's why at Poker Face, if I ever go on like Poker Face, they'll be like,
Pay $9.99 now and you'll find out.
baby, yeah, 99.99.
So, what do you guys feel about this? Like, as far as like the psychics that put on shows and stuff? Because I have a story on something that happened about 15 years ago, give or take. I was working in Winter Haven, and at the casino there, they had a show with a psychic lady. And at the
Mhm.
beginning of her show, she has like this throne at the middle of the stage, and she calls upon and says she's going to call her spirits, that her
The
guiding
spirit
spirit.
guides.
There you go,
Yeah.
spirit guide.
Hmm.
And so she goes through this whole thing where the whole auditorium is like real dark. She's only got lights, and she's doing her little chant. I wasn't at the show. I was at the station, and we had another team at the show there. And
Right.
immediately, as she was getting through that whole section, our alarms at the station and at the show itself, we were getting called like crazy by 911 at that casino.
Yeah.
The fire sprinklers overhead malfunctioned. So they were a type of system, it's a dry system. And when it fills up, the pipes get heavy and they push down through the ceiling and knock out like panels.
Yeah.
And they knocked out a whole panel of the ceiling tiles, and they landed on people in the casino. We had a cook from the
Settlement.
buffet. What's that?
Settlement.
Oh no, yeah, they had a lot of problems. Um, we had a cook in the buffet. Uh, he died right in the middle of the restaurant, and I say dead clinically because our team got there and they started CPR. They dropped airways, and all this craziness was going on at the same time inside the theater. Like 3 people fainted, so we were spread so thin, like everybody was trying to help everybody at the casino at the same time. And then the show kept going. The people that were hit by the tiles in the head, we just kind of bandaged them, and we were all trying to
Yeah.
rush over to get to the CPR scene. When they call us on the radio that the guy woke up. And when he woke up, he literally stood up and started running away from our crews. And
What?
they had to like grab him. They tackled him down. I mean, at this point, you have a possibility of broken ribs. They had a tube in his throat. I mean, it was like craziness. And they sat this guy down. They pulled the tube out, and he survived. it was like he never had anything happen, but there was no pulse. The EKG was asystole, so there was no electrical impulse in his heart.
Wow.
And all of this just kind of like turned around from one end to another. And I'm thinking, like, as a lot of this, like, these psychics that put on shows, are they practicing something possibly dark?
Oh hell yeah! I have to. Yeah, you like tapped into some stuff for me. Yes, I wholeheartedly believe it, because you know what? Like anything in society, and whether it's in the physical world or the purgatory or whatever it is, there's gonna be good and there's gonna be evil. Same thing with like how Jesse was touching on it. The psychics that, you know, they do it for the good of their community or mankind or what have you. And then you have the psychics that that don't. That you have the psychics. Something is moving on Buddy's screen, and it's freaking me out right now.
I
On
saw it a
your
couple
left
times.
hand side, yes.
It's my hand.
Oh, jeez.
I'm moving around. I'm having some nerve issues with my hands.
Oh, okay.
I saw it like come in now.
Yeah, I thought it was like something else. I was
It's
like, oh.
nothing. I would
Yeah,
have
I'm sorry,
told
guys.
you.
Yeah, Jesse would have
Yes,
jumped on it.
yes, I know, Jesse. So to finish the thought on it, yes, I do think that some people that are performing these psychic readings, especially in a broader sense, like imagine that, okay? You're in a huge setting of people, and there's a centralized person trying to conjure their spirit guide. What if something comes through that's not their spirit guide? And it's something that's malicious as far as an entity. And on to compound it, around them there's an audience that is feeding energy towards this person or the spirit that comes through, or entity, whatever it is. And like in your instance that you know, the story you just told, what if it was something that was evil that came through and created that chaos in that small moment? And maybe after, you know, this is just me, you know, analyzing it. What if the spirit guide came back? It came through for that psychic person, and that's how that guy that was presumably dead came back to life, because the spirit guide was back in, and that evil entity was no longer there. And that's just me with the hypothesis of what possibly could have happened, and a long explanation of why. A long explanation to answer your question as far as evil conjuring during psychic moments. And I'm sure Jesse could touch on that too.
I mean, I feel like it doesn't have to be a psychic necessarily to tap into that shit. I feel like anybody who doesn't even really know about it but wants to do it, like doesn't really, like, I don't know, if you have like some dumb ass that walks into like a witch store and like starts reading all
Right.
this stuff and starts practicing and finding out that they can do something, and then they start making a freaking career out of it, you know, eventually they're going to be conjuring the wrong spirits, thinking that maybe they're doing it for good, or maybe they're doing the right
Yeah.
spirits or right stuff to help them, but it's not. So I think it could either go both ways, because you can also have a really good psychic that just likes evil shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what if, is it possible, because you're more well versed in this, Jesse, a psychic is, like you said, trying to do some positivity for whomever, and they conjure an evil spirit or entity by accident, and they didn't mean to.
No, I think when you're practicing certain things, you know exactly what it is that you're conjuring. You can't just, I mean, I'm not going to say it never happens, but majority of the time, you know, you have the same spirit guides and Mother Earth and different
Right.
things that you work with. So it's not going to be like something that's going to appear or be taking the form of something you're trying to call out.
So is it far-fetched to say that it's possible that in Buddy's story, the psychic could have conjured at the time a malicious spirit to create that chaos to get more of a rise out of his audience, and it went a little too
definitely.
far.
Definitely.
Or this was her first time performing there, which is an Indian reservation.
Oh,
It was just too strong. Whatever it was
Maybe
that she was doing was just too strong for her. Like maybe
the
she,
control.
yes, like maybe she
Yeah.
never participated in such a big show, or maybe there, because I mean, you can say it's like the place, it's even the energy of the people that are watching. It's like so many things, so many factors. And I feel like if you're going to do a big show like that, you have to really know how to control, like freaking psychics that do readings, right? Like your house, or they do shows like Teresa Computer or whatever her name is from the Long Island Medium, stuff like that.
Oh God,
Where,
that with the bob, the lady with the bob.
yeah, the lady with the bob, or that guy that does the celebrities. Um, Something, even psychic Sylvia Brown, they have control, they've been doing it for a long time. They kind of know how to control whatever it is that they're conjuring or
Right.
doing.
That makes sense. Makes sense. I always love Buddy's. It's like ever since he started joining the pod, we have a Buddy's corner, or like a buddy story time. I love it, and because it leads to something very interesting, and it did lead to something very interesting. So, but
yeah, that's wild.
it is wild.
Kind of going back and just like a question for not just us here, but even whoever's listening, wherever you're listening,
Mm-hmm.
could telepathy be an evolutionary trait that we've just ignored? Because we all know that the mind is something we can only control. I think, what is it, less than 10%.
Yes,
We've seen
I believe
movies
so.
like Lucy, right? Or they've created movies like that. Limitless, all these different things. I also believe, and I don't condone any use of any of these things, but what is it, paraphernalia, drugs that
Yeah,
allow you to access more of your
that
brain.
portion of your mind.
Yeah. So imagine if it was voluntary, like we just decided, hey, let me
Right.
access this.
I mean, even Jesse touched on it a little bit too. Like a more common one, and supposedly, you could. It's water deprivation, like water submersion, or
Mm-hmm.
water deprivation takes, where you can astral plane through these things, or you could use telepathic waves through this to be able to communicate with someone in the further, I guess you could call it. And but sometimes people come into contact with things that they're trying not to. Is that his dog? Yeah.
No.
He's our paranormal mascot. So and honestly, I think it's, when it comes to all of this as humans, I think we're barely scratching the surface of it. And I think it's so much more out there. And I think way beyond our time, science isn't even going to come close. Maybe hundreds of years from now, maybe.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
If that answers what you were asking.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think this question can really be answered in our time. We'd have to just wait. Hopefully we get the answer.
I'm just thinking through that. Like, we're talking about we're only using 10% of our mind now, but if we really think about it, us is the whole evolution that we've come up to in this point. We are every day using our mind less and less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's look back 100 years. There was no TV, there was no cell phones, there was no internet. So people our age, or let's put it back down to children, they had to use their imagination to create any kind of like elaborate story or some kind of fun. that meant they used their minds more than we did now. And
Yeah.
and now it's like, you want to know a story, you just ask Alexa, and
Yeah.
she'll
It's
tell
true.
you whatever you want to hear.
Yeah.
Or ChatGPT.
Or look it up on YouTube or
I put down
whatever
in
it is.
ChatGPT John Wick style in a wheelchair, because I'm in a wheelchair, and it made me a pretty cool story.
Hey.
Yeah,
Nice.
but
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that. What about you, Jess? What do you think?
There's so many things that I think it's like too much. It's like too much for
Too
me
much
to think.
to process
Yeah,
and
yeah, it's like too
yeah.
much to process.
I mean, it makes
It's a
sense.
lot.
It totally makes sense. I mean, there's so much behind it. I don't think there's one true answer when it comes to
Mhm.
the psychic realm in the paranormal. I think it's very much untapped, and a lot of the people that are mediums and that are psychic readers or crystal ball, viewers, I think all of them are barely even, like I said, scratching the surface. And I think there's so much more behind it, and we don't understand it. And I don't know. I don't even know if we're ever going to understand it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
No.
It's just so vast. Oscar, thank you. That was amazing.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
so much for it. It's it honestly, the whole telepathy topic is out of my wheelhouse when it comes to the paranormal, because I'm so used to everything else as far as entities, cryptids, um, spirits, phantoms, everything of that sort. But I think this specific topic, it's something new to me, and I'm kind of learning. I learned a lot of stuff tonight, along with our audience, which I'm sure if you're not very familiar with it, you guys did, because I did too. And I think Buddy did as well, because I don't think Buddy's well versed on the whole psychic thing. And Jesse, we all know, everybody at this point, if you're a fan of the show, shout out to Kylie and KC out in Orlando.
I'm gonna be there.
You
next
guys already
month.
know Jesse is a witch. What'd you say? What?
I'm gonna be in Orlando next month.
Oh, nice,
Woo.
nice. So Jesse is all of the above. She's at the top of it. Jesse's just clairvoyant, and that's what makes our friendship dynamic, because she kind of understands when I'm going to talk to her about something, she kind of already knows what's happening,
Yes.
and the energy that I'm bringing to that conversation. And you could definitely feel that on the show. And sometimes she gets a little drained from the show because of things that are happening. And you guys have seen it in previous episodes. If this is your first time watching this show, go back a couple episodes, or even before that, when Jesse became a mainstay on the show. You could see at times where she's feeling a lot of people's energies, or there's an entity in someone's location, and it physically drains her, and psychologically drains her as well. It's amazing to see. I'm not saying that it's amazing to see her
Oh, great. Thank you.
deprived of energy. I'm just saying that it's amazing to see that in real time, and it's not BS, which is crazy to think. But overall, I mean, it was a great topic. We want to thank you guys. Submit your stories. We haven't gotten a story in a while. Submit your stories to Paranormal Dudes stories at gmail.com, or leave a comment, or DM us on Instagram. We're pretty active on there. Or DM us on TikTok as well. We're on there as well. Me and Oscar are regularly on TikTok. So shoot us a message. We're not afraid, or we're not jerks. The most important part. One last thing, I have kind of not necessarily a short paranormal story, but just to gauge all of you to get that are new to Buddy and him being on the show, and just so that you can understand the kind of person he is. So I was born in El Centro, California, along with both of you were born there as well, right? Or different areas? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
So my family left to San Diego for a couple years, and we ended up coming back to Calexico, California. So it was a culture shock for me because in San Diego, predominantly the language was English, and Spanish was. I even got made fun of by my kindergarten teacher about Spanish, but that's neither here nor there. So we came back, and it was a culture shock because I didn't speak Spanish. All the kids were speaking Spanish, and no one really spoke to me. And they kind of, they made fun of me because I didn't speak Spanish. All three of us were actually in the same class, in Mrs. Harvey's class in third grade. The very first person in our first recess that we ever had, that like kind of invited me in to play soccer. They tried me out at portero, or AKA goalie. And I failed, just so that everybody knows, miserably. But it was Buddy. So Buddy's the one that kind of brought me over to everybody and was like trying to get me to mesh with everybody, and just having me be goalie, even though he knew I was going to do horribly at it. I still did it anyway, and I failed. But that it made things a little better for me with the culture shock. And that's a testament of who Buddy is as a person. That memory is forever jogged in my mind of who Buddy is. Don't cry, whoever's watching, but that's what really happened. That's who Buddy is. But overall, I want to thank all of you for watching. We're going to continue this. We're looking forward to next week. We're still pumping in subscribers. We want to thank you guys. We want to thank everybody for all the support. This is something that we really love discussing, and we love hanging out and doing all this and creating content for you guys. If you're not watching on YouTube and you're watching on Spotify or Pandora or whatever streaming services, just keep you're gonna get more content on YouTube. We upload different things on YouTube, so if you have a chance, come and take a look at it. But overall, thank you all for joining us tonight, or whenever you're taking a dump, and we'll catch you guys on the next one. Later, dudes.
And don't forget to take in your daily dose of vitamins with Capri Sun.
Don't know.